That's when we can actually go and check the body, and if they're bleeding, what are we going to do? This isn't going to be a class on bleeding, but just a couple of things. What can we do for bleeding?
Try and find the source of pressure.
Apply pressure, right. Sometimes it can be a matter of, here, hold this there.
Yeah.
If they're conscious.
If they're conscious, if they can help themselves. If they can't, anybody who's unconscious but they're still breathing, what tag are we gonna give them?
Red.
So, if they're unconscious but they're still breathing, they're priority, they need help. Okay. Now we come to somebody who's got, for instance, a broken bone. And especially if they're sitting saying, help me, help me, help me, help. Do they have a good airway?
Yes, they do.
They have a good airway, okay. We'll set this red roller aside, we don't need the red roller then. Not necessarily, but it's a clue. I mean, they are breathing, we can tell they're breathing. And now we still want to check for bleeding. And then we want to watch for shock. What are our symptoms for shock? Altered mental state, right? What other thing do we want to look for?
Rapid heart rate.
Rapid heart rate. Weak pulse.
First,
And so first the body's going to go faster, and then it's going to start going slower. When you start going that downhill, then you're in trouble. Okay. And what do we do if we have somebody who's got shock?
Lie them down with the feet up.
Yep, lie them down, cover them up, get their feet up, and if they're going into shock, what color are we going to give them? Red. Okay. And so if we have somebody who's not in shock, and they're not bleeding profusely, and they're awake, what color are we going to give them? Okay.
well, if they can get up and walk, you're gonna give them green, but if they've got broken bones and can't get up, then you're yellow.
Well, greens hopefully got up and left when we started.
Right.
So it's a yellow.
Right. So that's just kind of a quick review in terms of how do we find those folks. So which one of these colors do we want to deal with first?
The red.
Green. You want them
Oh,
out of the
the
way.
green.
You want them out of the way.
Yeah.
Right. So, and they'll take care of themselves for the most part. So we'll get them out, we'll get them tagged green. Now, the folks who are left in the room, which ones do we want to get out the door next?
Red.
Red. Why?
Because they're the most severe.
They're the most likely to die. Right. Okay. Now you've got those who are dead and those who are not as badly injured. Who are we next concerned about?
Yellow.
Okay. And then if we have time, we'll get the dead out of sight. We don't like to talk about that, but that is part of triage. And we don't want to put them right next to the greens and the yellows.
No.
Because it does affect the morale of the others.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. One other thing we talked about was when you have some triage tape like this and you tag somebody, put it around their wrist, take a little bit and stick it in your pocket. Why do we want to do that?
Because you can
I
lose
remember.
count really easy.
Even our little scenario here, I lost count. How many people did I deal with? But then I can pull them out and say, oh, look what I got in my pocket. And then we can report outside.
That's a good idea.
So we've got almost everybody out. We got 1 or 2 people here, but we got 8 helpers in here. How many helpers do we need in here?
2.
We need some folks transporting people out, but once you're done, if you have idle hands, find something to do. It might not be in here, because the more people we move outside, the more help they're gonna need outside. So if you're looking around and saying, well, I don't know what to do, I guess I'll watch. Wow, that's cool.
So one of the things you can do outside, especially if you don't know what to do, is to watch the walking wounded to make sure they don't decompensate and start going into shock. Keeping somebody's mind busy and off of themselves is a really big help in keeping people from going into shock.
Here, talk to this person.
Give them purpose.
Give them purpose, get them a job. And that is our very brief overview of triage. Are there any questions?
Okay, the tape, when we're out of sight, do we each have it in our own CERT bag, or how do we handle the tape thing?
So one of the things that you can do is we have either 1 or 2 more boxes of it in our CERT medical supplies.
We do not. This is not the right product.
This is actual tape.
This is adhesive tape. I was under the impression this was not adhesive tape, but this
Okay,
is adhesive tape, so it's actually won't work, so we're gonna have
We'll
some.
have to return some of these. So you can grab a length of it if, you know, because there's no, well, I shouldn't say there's no way, but it's not real probable that you'll use a whole roll of that. So, you know, everybody grab a length of it before you head into a building or an area where there are people you know you'll need to help.
Or if you've got somebody who's got some, in our training, we actually had like a little rope thing, and then you could just go and get it as you need it, and there's
Right.
options.
So there's different options, yes.
I'm going to plan to keep some in my bag, but not this,
Why is there blue?
because it came with the kit. I thought this was perfect, and I saw the blue, I thought, well, just leave the blue out. So, you might use it to hold pipes together.
Like code blue.
Yeah, so I thought.
All right, any other questions?
All right, go ahead and give him a hand. Thank you, David.